Guys, back to cover the prize picks slate for the showdown. Posted the DraftKings and FanDuel showdown picks if you can check that out if you wanted to. Look at the prize picks plays for today. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, if you enjoy the videos, I appreciate it. Hit the like button. If you're into other prize pick stuff like baseball, I post some of those on Twitter. It's at the DFS Process. You can check them out. If you haven't signed up on prize picks yet, you can use my code PROCESS for deposit match up to $100. And let's go ahead and get started. So, looking at the points board, we have Luka Doncic up to 32.5 here. He was amazing all postseason so far, leading his team to the Western Conference Finals, beating a couple of pretty teams that have better role players than his team did with the Jazz in last series with the Suns, who were favored to win the whole thing for most of the season. Luka at 32.5, it's a fine number. He's going to play a lot of minutes. I like some of his other props a little bit better, but I have no problem if you wanted to take Luka's points. Steph Curry's points, 27.5. He's at like 28.5 on some sports books, so this is a number that you can take the over. I like his points, rebounds, assists prop a little bit better just with how much he's been contributing in those aspects, especially rebounding and assists in the last series, and the minutes have gone up, so that should continue. Brunson, 19.5. He was good for them in Game 7 on the road. It's still probably a number where he'll be right around this one. I want to see how he does in the first couple of games in Golden State. If this was in Dallas, it would be a little bit easier to get to Brunson, but he's not one of my favorite props today. We have Klay Thompson at 21.5. He had a great closeout game where he dropped 30. Otherwise, he was below 21 in the last 4 games. So I wouldn't take the over 21.5. Maybe you can flirt with the under, but it seems like maybe a stay away for me. Finney Smith is down to just 11 points last game. There's been 3 blowouts in a row for them. They blew out the Suns massively. Then they blew out the Suns back-to-back games, and then they got blown out in the previous game in May 10th. So we haven't seen very many close games for the Mavs since May 8th, and that was the last time we saw a great game from Finney Smith. But blowouts kind of mess up rotation and messes up the minutes, so I'm not going to put too much stock into it. I still like that number a lot. He's going to be one that you can take the points over. You can take the points, rebounds, assist over as well. Wiggins also a guy that's really stepped up for them. He's kind of been like their X factor this postseason, at least last series. We saw Jordan Poole struggle a little bit in the last few games with his shot. Wiggins has been consistent. He doesn't take a lot of shots, but he gets you points, he gets you rebounds, can get you a couple of assists, 1 or 2, and get you some defensive stats. So he's a prop. This prop I like. I like his PRA more, but you can definitely take the over 15.5. Reggie Bullock is over 8.5. This one, I would take the over 8.5 and take the over 2 threes, because if he's going to hit over 2 threes, that's going to be 9 points, same as this, and hopefully he can get you a couple baskets. So I would side with the over 8.5 here instead of the over 2 threes for Bullock, just based on the math. But I don't know if that'll be one that I make into my single entry. Draymond, 7.5. I never have confidence taking the over on Draymond's points at all. Kleber's down to 7.5. This one I do kind of like. He's been also, the blowouts have kind of messed up his rotation, but expect him to get some good minutes here in this series, like he has. They kind of moved away from Powell for the most part. He still played well last couple of games, and it got you like 15 or 20 minutes or so between that. That's something I would probably expect. Powell plays 15 to 20, and then Maxi Kleber gets the rest. Dinwiddie had a great game, shooting back-to-back games where he's dropped 5 threes, so don't know how sustainable that is. But 12.5 is not a crazy number that you can't take the over. But in terms of the points board, something that I probably will skip, at least in my first build. The assist prop, I like, you can definitely always consider Luka at 8. I like his rebounding better just because he's been doing a lot more of that in the playoffs with the minutes that he's been getting, and he's always been a good rebounder just based on his size. Curry's 5.5. I like his PRA. But this one is also, he's been right around this number throughout the Memphis series. Should be right around this number as well. But this is probably a little bit of a different story with how good Dallas is defensively. Like, we could see some less assists, some more closer games, and some more lower scoring games than the games against the Grizzlies, where they were a lot more fast paced and a lot more high scoring. Brunson is only at 3 assists. This could be like a push, or maybe he misses by 1. But I really don't want to take some of these role players' props on the road. Usually those are some that you take when they're at home in front of their home crowd and just play with a little bit more confidence, especially some of the younger players. You can always consider Draymond's assist, but probably take his PRA instead, just because sometimes he won't get you the assist, but he'll get you a lot of rebounds. Like he had 14 rebounds last game. He can get you a couple of baskets. Rebounds where I'll start. take the over 9.5 rebounds on Luka Doncic. In the regular season against the Warriors in 4 games, he averaged about 9 rebounds, but that was in about 34.5 minutes. Now in the playoffs, even the last 3 games where he didn't even play full minutes because blowouts in all 3, he still got you the over 9.5. And in game 1, if all things go to plan, we could see Luka play 38, 39 minutes, maybe closer to 40, if depending on how the game goes. If they're right in at the end and they want to steal game 1, Luka wouldn't be surprised if he plays over 40 minutes. And with it being more of a potentially lower scoring game, a lot more opportunities for misses, Luka can always get you a lot of rebounds, especially now that they're not really giving a lot of minutes to Dwight Powell. And ever since they made that Porzingis trade, not that Porzingis was always a great rebounder, but Luka's rebounding has really stepped up since that. They're playing a lot more small lineups. Another one that I kind of like is Wiggins at over 5.5. He's really done well for them rebounding the ball throughout the postseason. He had 2 double-digit rebounding games in his last 5, and the other one he had 9. A couple other ones he was way off, but only played 18 minutes in one of them with a blowout. And then I think there was another blowout when the one that he had 3, and he lost some minutes there as well. Dorian Finney-Smith over 4.5 rebounds also looks pretty solid. They're going to need him to play big minutes. They can also run some small ball lineups here with Warriors playing some 3-guard lineups at times and playing small with Draymond at the 5. Draymond's at 8 rebounds. He had 14 or 15 last game. He does give you that double-digit rebounding upside, but if they start, he had 15 rebounds, and Looney also had 22, so that was just a crazy game where they absolutely dominated the glass against the Grizzlies. Dwight Powell's only at 3, but he's risky because sometimes he won't get the minutes. And Maxey at 4.5 looks okay, but all Maxey, Bullock, and Finney-Smith are all at the same. I'd probably take Finney-Smith first, and then Maxey, and then Bullock. PRA is probably where I like a couple of these props a good amount. Steph Curry over 38.5. I don't mind his points prop, but he's also been getting you a lot of assists recently. He's also been getting you a lot of rebounds as well, and he's playing a lot of minutes. So I'll side with it over 38.5. The one game where he didn't hit this prop or get close to it, the other game he fell short by a half, was May 7th. But otherwise, he's been well over 40. That game, they got absolutely dominated. They were losing by 50. That should not happen, at least in game 1 here. Memphis just absolutely put them in a clinic in that game. But assuming that they don't lose by 40 or 50, Curry should be right around this number like he has been all throughout the postseason. And definitely think this one is one that I do like. So we got Luka over, Steph Curry over, PRA. Another over PRA I like is Andrew Wiggins. His points looks fine, but he can also get you there with the rebounding, so you can take the over that. I don't mind his points prop, and then maybe he can get you a couple of assists to really get there. So he's another one that's, except for that game where they were losing by 50. In the third, he's been right around 22.5, been over that in most of the games against the Grizzlies, and he's done pretty well against Dallas during the regular season in 4 meetings, not only scoring, but getting you some rebounds in those meetings as well. And then the last one, I think you can always consider Maxey at only 13.5. Like, Bullock looks okay at 14.5. Also don't mind Dinwiddie off the bench. But I'm going with Finney-Smith as the last prop. He's only 17.5. We saw him at times can absolutely crush this prop. But the 3 games in a row, like I mentioned, blowout. So he wasn't really he wasn't playing great. And the minutes were a little bit lower. But in terms of game 1, finals, Western Conference finals, wouldn't be surprised if it gets up to like 38 minutes or so just with the defense, and they can play some small lineups, so opportunities for rebounds. He can shoot a little bit and shoot the 3. We saw throughout the postseason. He has shot really well against the Warriors during the regular season, shooting over 50% from the floor and 50% from distance. So that is the last prop that I like to plug in here. Dinwiddie, Draymond, other ones you can consider. Same thing with Maxey's points. In terms of 3 points made, I like Steph Curry over 3.5. That would be the first one that I consider. Another one would be potentially Dinwiddie over 1.5, just because he's really shooting the ball well last couple of games, but wouldn't count on making 5 threes. Blocks and steals, you only have Clay here. In terms of steals, you have Luka at only 1.5, and this one has also been greened out for him with the minutes that he's playing and just getting his hands in passing lanes. And then turnovers, this one I don't have much inclination one way or the other. We want to see how the series goes, but could see some good defensive teams. Probably under maybe Luka would be fine, but I like some of the other props better. So Luka over 9.5 rebounds, Steph Curry over 38.5 PRA, Wiggins 22.5 PRA, and Finney Smith 17.5 PRA are the props I like today. Thank you for watching. Best of luck today, and I will see you all next time.